can't take a show seriously when it's just like treating me like just a fucking master masturbator. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Anime Club After Dark, the podcast that delves into all things anime, manga, and otaku culture related. I'm your host, Nitai, the poser extraordinaire, the one and only, and tonight I'm joined by the wonderful wizard Wayward Shinoda.
I'm so very tired. I moved a house today.
How was that?
It was tiring. Don't do it. Don't be nice to friends.
Well, get ready. We're in for an arousing episode. And
Fuck.
also we have the preacher of thighs himself, Alex Senpai.
Oh, you can call me darling, and I'm gonna try really hard not to cough through this whole damn episode. I'm still recovering from the flu, so I'm sorry if you hear me cough once or twice. I'm gonna try and mute my mic every time I have to cough. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Well, that's fine. It'll be a good time tonight. Okay. Before we get into tonight's little topic, first a bit of housekeeping. The best boy and best girl for the year 2017, like the polls themselves are up.
Yes,
They're
the
on the website on
championship.
anime. Yeah, fuck yeah. They're on animeclubafterdark.com. Go over there and vote for your favorite best boys and best girls. On the boys' side, we have the great, the one and only Araragi against the cinnamon roll Rei Kiriyama. Both of them good choices. On best girl, we have Akari from March Comes in Like a Lion and Hitagi from Monogatari. So quite the power couples we have here.
Yeah, I found it quite ironic that it came down to Shaft versus Shaft for the final for 2017.
Yeah, Shaft knocked it out of the park in
They did.
2017 for sure.
There's something
Also
else
in
we need to talk
2018
about. It was your
Oh,
birthday
what's
this
that?
week.
It was.
Happy
Yesterday,
birthday.
Actually. Thank you. It was a good time. It was a good time. Thanks.
You're finally old enough to drink in the States.
Well, here in Israel we're like allowed from 18, so I'm good. But thanks for letting me know. Now I can come over and just get wasted all the time.
Yes, and do poses with me and Riker.
Oh, we should. Just sing great days all day long. Let's just do it. All right. So now that's all of that housekeeping is out of the way. Let's move on to tonight's topic. Tonight we're talking about something quite arousing. Fan service. Fan service is a big part of anime. You could say it's almost, some would say, even ingrained to our culture, small culture of anime. To the uninitiated, fan service would pretty much mean, like, the general term of fan service that like the meaning of it that every otaku uses is pretty much like servicing the fans, literally. Whenever you see like a very hot girl or a very buff dude, that's fan service pretty much. Whenever you see a panty shot or some muscles being flexed, that's fan service.
That's true.
That's like the
And also,
showers.
like, if you really like moe girls and there's a moe girl in a show, that's technically fan service to you.
That's technically fan service for sure. So all you moe blobs lovers, just go ahead and enjoy your moe blobs. That good on you. So I think first before we delve into like what we think are good examples of fan service and bad ones, what do we think about fan service in general? Actually, I want to know what you guys have to say. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I think that fan service definitely has a place, not just in anime, but just in fiction in general. Because it is all about servicing the fans, as the term itself points out, like you mentioned. I think that fan service, though, just for the sake of having fan service, can actually detract from the quality of a show. John and I were talking about this the other day, and he mentioned Infinite Stratos. Like, on the surface, it could be a good show, but there's a bunch of fan service that just distracts from the whole thing and kind of lowers the quality a bit. And I agree with him on that. I definitely think that it does. But I definitely think it has a place, and I think that it has a use, and I think that it can actually service the story and the characters and the overall plot. And I think when fan service is used that way, it's actually a good thing.
I can see that. Shinoda?
I flippin' love it. I do wish that it was more carefully done, but otherwise I do like it.
Yeah.
You slut.
Yeah.
This is why we
Yeah.
can't have nice things, Shinoda.
I would agree with both of you that it's like there's a place for it. I remember at first when I got into anime, I was like, that's weird that there's so much of this in anime, but okay, sure. And maybe I've gotten either used or jaded to it. You pick whatever you think suits
Could be
the
both.
topic at hand.
Probably.
But I think there is a place for it when it's done right, because it does allow for like some really, I don't know, some very interesting moments. Like if they would have like toned it down, it wouldn't have worked. And that's the same I think for violence in anime. It's not the fact that I choose to not tone it down in a lot of cases, just like make the story that much more interesting. And yeah, I think it's an interesting like thought.
Yeah, I mean, and violence itself can be fan service, especially there's shows
sure.
out there that blend violence and sexual fan service together, there's one of those shows that we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah, I mean, like one of the most popular shows of the year, and we just started was Devilman Crybaby, and that show is ultra violent, ultra sexual, and both of those things work to like be part of the story. They're not just there for like shock value. They are there for shock value, but not only that. Which is I find it pretty fascinating. That show is
I still have to watch that show. Don't
Yes,
hate
you
me.
Just get ready.
I've heard things, some things.
Yeah, Devil Crybaby is weird. Anyway, now that we're done with that, let's first get into good examples of fan service. Okay, so I'll throw into the ring one first. One of my favorite comedies in anime is Shimoneta. Now, Shimoneta is about a world where sexual jokes are not allowed, and you can't really express yourself sexually, because it's like a dictatorship, and that's the whole
Dictatorship.
God damn it.
God damn it.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
here we go. Here we go. No, that was pretty good. It's a word about where, like, in Japan, the society is like a dictatorship where you can't make, like, jokes about porn, and, like, porn itself is, like, being destroyed and confiscated and stuff. And that show just takes the concept of fan service and goes all out with it. Like, it's insane. You have like this dolly who draws porn with her mouth because she can't with her hands because they'll detect her hand movement. It's incredible. My God, watch it up. And
The dub
that
is so
show-
much better than the sub. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
yeah, you're not wrong. And that show wouldn't work without the fan service in it. And ironically, the funny part is like it was even censored when it was aired on TV. So
Yeah.
which is it's funny because that's like
The whole show
is
was a social commentary on
Exactly.
censorship and such.
Exactly, and the irony of it getting censored.
it was yeah, it was commentary on censorship. It was commentary on somewhat on Japan itself and how they view sex, and that's fascinating that like a show could like do that and it still be entertaining in my opinion. Like it's a brilliant comedy. If you haven't seen it, and you're like interested in that topic of like sex and like fan service in shows, I think that's like a really good place to start if you're into that humor. It's really fantastic. So that's that's my first pick.
I think that the fan service in Shimoneta definitely works in terms of the comedy that's in it, because a lot of the fan service that's in the show, not to spoil anything, because if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a watch.
It's
but
hysterical.
The comedy and the fan service itself kind of serves to show how sexually repressed the society is. And I think
Yeah.
that's how the fan service is used, and I think that it's definitely one of the ways that fan service can be used as a force for good storytelling.
For sure.
Shimoneta's a
love
great
nectar.
example of that.
Which honestly,
love
it isn't
nectar,
used
man.
like that enough.
Do what? What do you say, Shinoda?
I said it honestly isn't used like that enough.
Oh no,
It
it's
really
not.
needs to
It's
be.
Yeah.
like I said before, it's definitely not fan service for fan service sake. There's definitely a point to it in Shimoneta, and that's I think a theme with a lot of these things that we're calling good fan service are going to be.
Yeah. Shona is hysterical. You all should go and give it a shot. Anyway, any show you guys would like to mention that does fan service good?
Well, I can mention one in the same vein as Shimoneta. especially
Good.
with the comedy, and that's a show and a manga, incidentally, called "Is This a Zombie?" Now, if
Oh,
you've
I've
never
heard of
seen
it.
this show, it's hysterically funny, and it delves into all bunch of different sexual themes like cross dressing and transsexualism and crazy shit like that. But a lot of the comedy comes from in the show comes from like the bizarre, crazy sexual situations that the protagonist finds himself in with this group of girls. So it kind of borders on that sort of harem fan service, but it's also tied in as like a fantasy sitcom. So it's got a lot going on, but all of the fan service in this show definitely serves the point of the comedy. And there's breakdancing in it. So I'm not kidding. The main character does breakdancing, and it's phenomenal, especially when his pants come off.
Amazing.
Anime, thank you.
Yeah, and if you've never seen it, first of all, it's based on a manga, and it's based on a really ecchi manga, where the first, not to spoil anything, but the very first panel of the first page of the first volume is a completely out of context panty shot, which throughout the course of the first chapter you see what the point of it is. So that's how the fan service is used in This Is Zombie, sort of similar to Shimonetta. Not a lot of people have seen This Is Zombie, so
Yeah, I've never heard of it till now, so
it's really good.
teen show.
It's
see.
known way more by its Japanese title, which is Kore wa Zombie Desuka, I think.
Bless you. Yeah, I'm just looking it up. It's by Dean, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely
about
Dean. It's Dean doing a good show back when Dean was shit.
Oh, wow. That is...
I mean, Dean brought us one of the greatest shows of all time with Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju, so they can do some stuff when they feel like it.
And Konosuba.
And that as well, very true. Shinoda, any show you would like to mention?
Yes, there is. I will mention, shall we get into Devilman Crybaby or Kill la Kill? What do you guys think?
I say Kill la Kill because that's
Yeah.
actually been out for a lot longer.
So, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong before we get into Kill, because I haven't seen it, but from the very few details that I've heard about it, and I'm going to watch it eventually, from what I've heard, the show really doesn't work without the fan service. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. I would completely agree with that. That the story, you couldn't sell the story without the fan service.
Yeah,
What do you think, Shinoda?
like it is that fan service is so important to the show because it is actually morals, ethics, all types of those types of things, empowerment. A lot of it is actually tied around this fan service, and it's actually done in a really brilliant way that actually makes it okay and like actually wonderful to watch. Like most people would say, "Oh, fan service, bleh," they're just not into it. Like some more prudish people, let's say. I have a friend that's like that. She's not really into that type of stuff, but she saw Kill la Kill and she's like, "Holy shit! They actually did it in a really amazing way, and everything's explained too. But they did it cleverly."
Yeah, everything that has a purpose.
Exactly. Yeah. And thanks to that, it can actually be beloved without being hated on. Like, it's not just, oh, here's some fan service just for the shits and giggles. No, there is an actual reason for fan service in this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And then you have scenes that are completely out in left field. You actually, okay, slight spoiler alert. You get to see two women finger bang each other. Just gonna throw that out there.
I honestly don't remember that.
I can't believe that. I how could you forget?
I've had a very long day. That's how. And it's my memory. Do you even have to question?
Well, okay, yeah, I got it.
Makes no sense.
But yeah, I completely agree with just about everything Shinoda said. Like, if you're a prude, like, you're not gonna understand Kill la Kill because it actually relies on its fan. I mean, it's about sentient clothing. I mean, it kind of goes with the territory.
Thank you, Trigger.
Yeah, thank you, Trigger. The same, and it's hard to believe that the same studio that gave us this gave us the kid-friendly Little Witch Academia.
You say kid-friendly, but have you seen that show? I mean,
There's a lot of Yuri bait in it. I know.
Oh yeah. Oh,
God damn it, Japan.
Akko and Diana for life.
All right.
OTP, OTP.
God damn it. Yeah. Okay. Enough with Trigger for now. Let's move on. We will come back to Trigger later, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
And I think another show that, yeah, this next show is, I'm currently watching it, and both Axe and I just adore it. It's incredible. Monogatari does fan service very well and very differently, and
Yeah.
I think that, and that's mainly because of Odiseo Isen and what kind of writer he is.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
Yeah, Nisio Isen is just an otaku, and more than that, he's a very self-indulgent otaku. So he would write into his stories all of these moments of fan service that sometimes are like brilliant, and then sometimes are just like super like fourth wall breaking. Like
It's blatant.
there's
Yeah, absolutely. And there's,
it's
I'm not
incredible.
I'm not gonna lie. There's been a few moments in the Monogatari series that's made me question my sexuality. Listen, when when you see so many panty shots of Hachikuchi, you can only look at that so many times where you think, "Am I a lolicon?"
You awful human being.
Truly are.
And then you realize
Yeah.
you want a donut.
Donuts are the best. But I think the brilliant of Monogatari comes from Nisio isn't just being that self-indulgent. Like, there's a literal moment, there's a literal moment in second season specifically, and you know what I'm talking about, Lex, that involves
I know what you're
Hikage
talking
and
about. Spoiler
Tsubasa.
alert.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go into it. Let's just say two girls are gonna shower together. It's quite the thing to behold. But they before that they talk to each other and stuff, and talk about stuff related to the plot and the characters, and and then like one of them suggests taking a bath together, and she says, let's do it for the sake of Araragi, aka let's do it for the sake of the fans. So he just likes doing that shit whenever you think it just would work. And I don't know, for some reason it really works for me. And then aside from that, it just goes into the comedy itself. There are so many like moments that it's just stupid fan service for comedy's sake. And then you have moments like back in episode 1 that's like that first like Hitagi shower scene that's like very important to like her character, and you sort of on a more subconscious level just helps you like get to understand her. And I
Yeah.
think that's brilliant. That
I think
all of that
actually-
is just in one show. I think it's unique.
Yeah, I think, and you kind of hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of the fan service in Monogatari goes to serve the characters and their motivations.
Mm-hmm.
You get to learn a lot about the characters in Monogatari through the fan service they're portrayed by.
Really? That's
You learn this a
actually
lot with
way of doing it.
In Baki Monogatari specifically, and in second season, you pretty much learn everything you need to know about Nadeko's character through the fan service that she's portrayed with.
Very true. And then like, and not just like the like that kind of fan service. Also, like the last opening of second season is sort of a fan service ish thing. When you think about it, because it plays into Nadeko's like love for. I'm not gonna say it, but you know what I mean. And then, okay.
I know
Last
exactly
OP
what you mean, and I completely agree.
Yeah, the aesthetic of the last OP of second season is also a type of fan service because it works into Nadeko's character. I'm not gonna say more because it's incredible. I love it.
I also got to hear Kaiki sing, and I got a boner.
Oh, for sure. Damn, Kaiki, best girl.
Yes.
Wow. Man, I love that man so much. Best character theme. It's up there with the best character themes in anime. I'm just gonna say
Absolutely. Shall we move on to something completely different?
that. Go for it.
I want to talk about Evangelion.
Oh,
So,
the fun
I know, well, hey, it's a classic at this point, and I'm not talking about the new movies. I'm specifically talking about Neon Genesis Evangelion from the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And the subsequent movie, End of Evangelion.
So good.
It is. It's one of those things where if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a
Yeah.
classic.
It's a
at
classic
this point.
for a reason.
Yeah, it's definitely a classic for a reason.
Like, whether you watch
just-
the anime or the movies, honestly, although it is very much worth it to watch the shows from what little I have seen, I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Just forgive the animation in the last 2 episodes. I'm just throw that out there.
Honestly, if you don't tell people that, it'll still like mind fuck with them, and that's.
Oh, it
beautiful.
will. It will.
I love that.
It will. It just looks like it was drawn with a crayon.
I love it.
I'm not exaggerating.
Oh, Lord.
But there's a lot of fan service in Evangelion. Of course, a lot of the characters, especially the main characters in Evangelion, are teenagers. And young teenagers at that. And one thing that teenagers all go through is puberty. And if you look at the entire plot of Evangelion and a lot of the metaphors that the fan service is used to portray, a lot of the fan service in Evangelion serves to illustrate the different struggles of going through puberty. I mean, it's not a gracious, it's not a beautiful, and it's not a wonderful thing to go through. It's kind of messy and it's kind of confusing, and I think that the fan service in Evangelion that we get definitely portrays that really well, especially a certain scene and end of Evangelion that we all know what I'm talking about.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. God damn it, you made me cough. Sorry.
Die.
Oh my god.
Nani?
But I mean, okay. Massive spoiler alert for End of Evangelion. I have to mention it. So, alright. So,
the beginning of the movie.
Well, yeah. It's almost at the very beginning.
Yeah.
You're treated to this wonderful scene where Shinji is in a hospital room with an... Is she unconscious or is she actually in a coma?
She's comatose.
Okay, she is comatose.
Yeah.
And the scene kind of pans around for a bit. The scene just kind of pans around for a bit and like not really focusing on anything. And then all of a sudden you hear Shinji go,
And then it just...
And then it cuts to a scene where he's just looking at his hand and it's covered in cum. And so, you know what just happened.
Yeah.
But
First I watched, I was like...
I
was like, wait, what?
But that's what I mean. Like, it definitely, like... Those are you have those kind of thoughts when you're going through puberty. You have really fucked up thoughts when you're going through puberty.
Yeah, but it's
you
like...
may not always act on them, but you have those thoughts.
What's that, Shinoda?
I said, and sometimes people do act on these kind of thoughts. Like,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you have these thoughts, and some people act on them. Most people don't, but some people do act on them.
And here's the fascinating thing: you do have a character in Evangelion that acts on that thoughts. I mean, Misato, her whole character, the fucked up thing about her is that she just doesn't know how to express her feelings without fucking someone. That's the only way she manages to express herself, and that's through her sexuality in the show. You find it constantly whenever she hooks up with I forgot his name. Shit, that dude. You know who I'm talking about.
God, what was his name? I forgot.
Starts
with an R.
Anyway,
I know it starts with an R.
I'll look it up later. It's so whenever she hooks up with him, or it's or in End of Evangelion itself, when she just kisses Shinji, and that's also because she just doesn't know how to express herself. She just does that through her sexuality. So you have like Evangelion just like takes a lot of different routes with how it approaches fan service and sexuality.
His name is Ryoichi, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
So again, in that first scene of End of Evangelion, it's basically Hideki Anno saying, "Otakus, fuck you, stop masturbating to like 2D characters." But then you have that whole development with Misato that's like, I think it's just brilliant how well the show uses sexuality and fan service itself in different ways that all like work to either comment on something that the creators like have thoughts on, or like develop a character in a certain way. I think it's like very masterfully done in Evangelion.
Yeah. And also Misato is a borderline pedophile. Just gonna throw that out there.
I know, but
borderline.
She openly admits to liking underage boys. So, just throwing that out there.
I love her.
She's a great character. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. She's a great character. And another great thing is when you're first introduced to Asuka, like that whole when Shinji is first introduced to Asuka, more specifically, that whole scene is just basically her being naked.
Yeah.
And it definitely is a great introduction to her character because she's so spastic and you never know what the fuck she's gonna do.
That's like
fucking Cinderace.
Sidebar. I think it's bold and brilliant that they held on to Asuka for like 9 episodes till they introduce her, because she changes everything in that show when she shows up.
She really does, and the balls they had to do that, it's amazing. And the fact that they still got to do as much as they did even after she came in, like late as it was. Like that made it even more amazing.
Yeah.
That's not
Also,
even
it's
like-
worth pointing out. It's worth pointing out that Evangelion was one of the earliest shows that I can personally remember that had an openly gay main character
Mm.
with Kaoru.
Yeah. Very true.
Also, in the original show, he only appears in one episode, although it
That's
feels like so
fascinating.
much more.
That's
Really?
fascinating. He lives such an. He shows for like 1 or 2 episodes.
I think he appears for one full episode. And I think maybe 1 or 2 scenes in another episode, but he only appears
Yeah.
in one full episode.
Even though he left such a huge impression.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Now I'm getting flashbacks to that scene. Oh, with that classical music, shit.
Yeah, well, and then Hideki Anno, a few years after Evangelion, I guess it was at I think it was at a convention in Japan somewhere, and someone was asking him about, like, because Shinji mentions in the show how much that he quote unquote loved Kaoru for what he did for him,
Yeah.
and he was asked, so are they actually a thing? And he says, I can't remember the exact word. It was really funny, the exact wording that he used, but he used something to the effect of Shinji doesn't limit himself to a single gender.
Good for Shinji.
So he's basically confirmed that Shinji is supposed to be bisexual.
Shinji is a fuckboy.
He is a fuckboy. What's that new word that people soy boy?
What the hell?
What?
I've never heard of this.
I've never heard of
Go
that.
look it up.
No, I'm
No,
not.
thank you.
Other things you should not look it up. Berserk. No, I'm kidding.
Move on from that, please.
Yeah. I'm gonna just touch on Berserk because that's a whole Pandora's box to unbox. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Here's the thing about Berserk. Berserk is brutal. It's visceral, and it
Very
doesn't
brutal.
give a fuck about what you feel. It will go out of its way to just portray the most fucked up, the most gory, and the most like anyone who's read Berserk and heard and like says the word eclipse knows everything that needs
Oh,
to be
Does
God.
said.
not
about
hold
Berserk.
your hand when it comes to brutality.
I mean, it may hold your hand, but it's
Yeah.
gonna rip it off right afterwards.
The first page of the manga is literally Guts fucking a demon. Okay.
What a great page of manga. One of the greatest pages of manga of all time.
I mean, I would fuck a demon.
I mean, well,
Oh no, you wouldn't that one.
I would fuck a
yes,
demon
I
too.
would.
Her
I've
name
seen it.
I would fuck a demon too. Her name is Satania.
Just
You
bully that
fucking
shit.
pedo.
Fuck you!
Anyway, I think Berserk is also like a very, like, there's a lot of, there's a lot of stuff in Berserk to unpack. Like, I'll never forget. Like, there's a certain scene with Griffith in the, like, if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about, which is pretty much him butt naked, and it's such a powerful scene to like view him, like what type of character he is and how he deals with pain.
Griffith did nothing wrong.
That's objectively untrue. Sidebar. That's objectively untrue.
Oh, dear
I knew
Christ,
that
I'll
would
be
fuck
really
him up.
getting into this.
I'm not going into this. That's objectively untrue. I can understand the case for Griffith, but saying he did nothing wrong is objectively untrue.
You
Anyway,
mean nothing wrong?
No,
did.
move on. Just move on.
yeah, in the post show I'll talk to you about it.
Just
Anyway,
in case anyone doesn't understand, Griffith is, and this is spoilers, so very big spoiler
Yeah.
warning. Like skip 20 seconds ahead. Griffith is basically a mass murderer and a rapist.
yeah, no, I can understand people defending the mass murderer. I can't understand people defending the rapist. Enough. We're not opening this discussion.
Yeah,
Fuck
just
you,
wanted to
everyone.
mention that real quick. All right,
He
move
could
on.
rape me.
Well, that's
Moving on.
consensual, so it's not rape at that point.
Moving on.
That's just
Moving
roleplay.
on. Anyway, Berserk is incredible. Go watch the original show. Go read the manga. I think it deals with fan service in a way that serves like the world and just shows how fucked up the world Miura created is. And also it delves into other parts of fan service, but
It definitely deals into a
Honestly-
lot of gore service for sure.
yeah, for sure.
So
That's
if you
also
are
very
if
true.
you are into ultraviolence and sex, you'll love Berserk.
Yeah, I love it. But yeah, I don't know. Anything you guys want to add to Berserk? I just feel like I feel like I need to read more of the manga to talk about it more in depth.
I mean,
Who is
it's
the first
it's
on this
it's
part?
sex, violence, raping, and pillaging. I mean, but it definitely serves a purpose. It definitely, I would say that actually the fan service in Berserk serves to the world building aspect of it, because like the world is that Berserk takes place in is fucking brutal, and it's fucking like nobody cares about your feelings in that world
Yeah.
at all. So I definitely think the fan service that there is, and the gore service too, definitely serves to illustrate that. Especially like you say in the very beginning, fucking a demon.
Yeah, that sets the tone. Whew. Okay. I think we're done with Berserk.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I got one more I could mention, but it's almost in the exact same vein as Berserk. And
Go
it's
for
a
it.
show that no one talks about because I don't know why. But it's a show called Nimdesign, and I know that's really hard to say. It's even harder to spell. But it's a show that aired in either 2009 or 2010. I can't remember now.
2008, according to Mel.
2008. Okay. Oh, okay. That was pretty close. 2008. It was a excuse me. It was a show that was done to mark the anniversary of a channel called ATX. And the show itself, kind of a lot like Berserk, deals into sexual and ultra-violent themes. And it has a lot of like Yuri fan service, but it's like all the way Yuri. It's not teasing Yuri. Like you get to see there's girls like banging each other out, and it's like it leaves very little to the imagination. But it's like in the same vein as Berserk, it serves to illustrate the kind of world that this takes place in, the story that's being told, and it all comes full circle by the end, because you find out that there was actually a point to all this. I won't really give it away, but I'll just say that it's definitely worth a watch if you have a very high tolerance for things like violence and sex and violence during sex.
I see it's only 6 episodes as well.
Yeah, it's only 6 episodes long. It's technically an OVA series, but each episode is 45 minutes long. So it's definitely worth a watch. You can get through it in a few hours. Actually, fun fact, we actually watched, because when we went to AX, we were kind of bored one day before the convention, and we were laying around the hotel room. We had nothing to do. So someone put Crunchyroll up on the TV, and we were just flipping through there to see what they had that we could watch. And then Tom says, "What's Nim Design? You've talked about that before, but I've never seen it." And it's like, well, you want to watch it? And we watched the entire thing that afternoon.
How many episodes?
Yeah.
12?
6.
Oh, 6. So not even that bad.
No.
Yeah.
Also, another thing that the fan service actually sort of illustrates, one of the key themes in the story is immortality and how it kind of sucks. And the fan service goes to show that, because as these people who in the story who are immortal get bored, they have to come up with more and more depraved things in order to keep their attention and make their lives worthwhile. So, like I said, it's definitely worth a watch if you have a high tolerance. That's all I got. So should we move on to ways that fan service goes bad?
So far we talked about really good shows that deal with fan service in a either just good or brilliant way. Now it's time to talk about the worst of the worst, the trashiest of the trash. Just ugh. So yeah, throw in some shows you think deal with have really bad fan service that does and explain why.
Okay. I think that you should start with this one, and you should start by talking about Mirai Nikki.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah,
brace yourselves,
okay.
boys and girls. I hope you brought snacks.
Remember,
Future
take
Diary.
shots every time you hear Yuki.
We've already done that. That was a bad
want
idea.
alcohol poisoning.
Ugh. Anyway.
If you want to see the results of that, you should check out our YouTube page.
Very true. Anyway, Future Diary, let's be frank, that's not a very good show. Because it has some really good ideas and some interesting themes, but it never follows up any of that. And to spice it all up, it decides to be the edgiest. And I don't like using that term, because I think it sounds like you're just thinking less of a show, but fuck it, I am thinking less of Future Diary. It's Future Diary. It's just God, I mean, Future Diary uses fan service to be edgy and nothing else. There's no substance behind it. There's a point in the story. Yeah, there's a point in the story when you meet one of the diary users, which is the whole point of the show is this big battle royale game that everyone's trying to kill each other, and the winner becomes God. Why? Because reasons. It's stupid. Who cares?
Because someone had an imaginary friend who was actually real.
No, it's actually because a businessman had talked to God. It's like, hey, you should try this if you're looking for someone to be your successor. Anyway, and there's a point in the story where we meet the sort of character, and it's like, oh, she seems cute and all, and then it's like, but actually she's fucked up because when she was a kid, she was raped by an entire clan of like religious people. It's like, why? That doesn't serve any purpose. It's like, and it don't leave a lot of room for the imagination. It's just like trying to easily get you to sympathize with her, and it's stupid. But then it tries to do that horrific moment, and then like an episode, actually in the same fucking episode, there's a moment when another person is like captured, and for some reason she's naked. Why? I don't know. And her tits are all hanging out. Now don't get me wrong. I don't care when tits are out, but it's like, why it's there? There's no reason for it. It's just distracting, and it's like taking I can't take a show seriously when it's just like treating me like just a fucking master masturbator. There we go.
Definitely the soundbite of the podcast. I don't mind when tits are out.
God damn
it. No, I get what you're saying. Like the fan service in Mirai Nikki is made even more cringy by the fact that these main characters are in middle school.
Oh God, that's right.
And then by the end it's like, and it's Yuno and Shinji fucking each other. And it's like, I don't give a shit about you two. And no, don't show me Yuno's tits because I don't give a shit about her. It's not gonna make me go back to, oh, she's a brilliant character with deep personality issues. No, she's an idiot.
Yeah, a lot of the fan service in Mirai Nikki is just there just to keep your attention, because I think subconsciously, like, it knows it's a bad story, so it just constantly flashes you tits and ass to keep your attention.
It's eye candy, and that's
exactly.
And not even good eye candy. God, that show has no style whatsoever.
I mean,
it's the blandest visuals ever.
I'd like to point out that for the anime in particular, the studio took great pains to make the characters look older than they are. But if you actually go and read the manga, they look incredibly young. It's made really cringy. Like in the anime, you can kind of suspend disbelief and think, well, these look old enough to be high school characters, and that's
honestly
better.
I didn't know they were middle school characters.
I mean, but you look at that like that's better, but still not great, but it's better. But then you look at this like they're middle schoolers, man. These are like from the age of 11 to 13. It's not good.
Shinoda, what do you have to say about Future Diary?
I'll be honest, you guys might hate me for this a little bit.
You like it, don't you?
I do like it. Even through its problems, all the cringe. Like, looking back at it, it is bad. But at the same time, I have fond memories of it because it was this was from way back whenever I watched an anime, I just watched it and just enjoyed it. I didn't think
I thought you were going somewhere completely different with that statement.
Do I?
I thought you were gonna say. I thought you would say I watched anime just to masturbate to it.
I mean that came afterwards.
I knew it. You sick son of a bitch.
Hey,
Shinji, stop touching yourself. We're getting the robot.
AK, the whole point of this.
Thank God you grew up.
Oh, well, let's not get crazy here.
I gave you an out and you went right back in.
Giggity.
He's dead.
Jeez, Shinoda, why are you doing this?
Don't die.
I'm alive. Oh, good.
Good lord.
Oh, good.
Easy, Morty. Easy.
Easy. Morty, no. Alright, stop.
Okay.
Oh, jeez, Rick.
Oh, don't start it. Don't start
I can't believe I didn't start coughing with that. There we go.
A pickle Rick!
Stop, you cancerous prick. Jesus.
I just like, this is Shinoda. Gave me a pickle Rick.
Oh, God. Fuck. What were we talking about? I don't remember.
Fucking how Yuno sucks as a character. No.
What?
She literally sucks.
Yeah, she sucked pretty good for someone.
Oh, God. But as for the fan service,
let's move on.
Yeah, let's just move on.
In Mirai Nikki, it was very out of place, and it was offset by everything else also. So, I mean, it
Yeah,
was
I
not
mean,
absolutely terrible in my opinion, but it didn't really have a place in there. It felt more
Mm,
forced than anything.
yeah.
yeah, definitely, yeah. It's definitely something that feels like it was shoved in there after the fact.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah.
I
Thanks
have,
for making me that just angry, Alex. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
when I saw you when I put it on the list, I'm thinking, yeah, yeah, he can rant. All right, well,
Enough of
I
that.
have two that are kind of related that I want to talk about really quickly,
Go for it.
and they're both for the same reason because they both deal with incest, just two
God.
different kinds of incest. And that is that's a series called Kiss X Sis, and another one called Yosuga no Sora. Now, a lot of people know Kiss X Sis. A lot of people have seen it, and you know that it's just bad. Like, it is literally just fan service for the sake of having fan service. The redeeming quality is it's not real incest because they're step siblings.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Like, okay, I still don't want to put my dick in a stepsister. But it's just it's so cringy, and it's like I look at this and I'm thinking the only people this could possibly appeal to is people who have never actually seen a vagina in their life or a 12-year-old. That's it. Like it's that bad. Like the fan service isn't even that good. Like it's almost except for one particular scene that it's clothes on. So it's like softcore porn. The clothes are always on. Like you never really see anything, and it's just basically like all you see is moaning, groaning, and humping. That's
So,
it.
I have a question for you, because you're watching Citrus, and I want to know, do you feel like that show, because you really like it, right?
I do like it. I like the manga
So,
that it's based on.
and that's incest, am I correct?
It's
Somewhat? Wink,
it's
wink?
it's kind of it's kind of Kiss X Sis. They're step siblings, not actual.
Okay, and do you feel like that show does that right?
I think it does it a lot better than Kiss X Sis.
Please
From what I've
elaborate.
heard so far, and I haven't seen or read this yet, but it does delve into more complicated issues.
Yeah, like one of the complex issues, and I was really surprised that they actually showed this in the anime
The
because it's
sexual
kind of
assault,
like
right?
the sexual assault scene in episode 3 or I can't remember if it's in 3 or 4 now, but it's in the
Damn.
episode 3 or 4. Like and that's one of the things that Citrus the manga itself kind of delves into is like what actually is sexual assault. Like if you actually wanted it after the fact, does that still make it sexual assault in the moment? So I would think it goes beyond fan service. Yes, there is fan service in Citrus, and yes, there's. Yeah, I think it kind of warranted in the plot, but I think it also serves to illustrate like a good point as to like what kind of constitutes sexual assault. That's my feelings about Citrus. I really
also
don't
feel
want to
like-
talk too much about it because it's still airing and some people
Yeah.
are still watching it.
Yeah, I will say we talked about Monogatari. I feel like Monogatari also gets away with the wink wink incest part because it's sort of self-aware and kind of breaks conventions, because like the only incestuous moment is the infamous toothbrush scene, and that moment is like it's not very anime in this, like it's very anime, but what I mean by that, like, so the scene is pretty much between Aragi and his sister Karen, and they sort of like have this stupid challenge that whatever. He brushes her teeth till she comes. Stupid anime bullshit. Anyway, but the interesting thing about it is just like and then you have that classic anime moment where it's like someone steps in and sort of like cucks Araragi while he's doing it. It's like, but then they go back at it, which
Yes.
I've never seen in any other anime. So it's like, again, I think it's part of this show is to just trying to fuck with his like audience or something. But I don't know, I felt like it got away with it.
Yeah, but there's
I
a
know a
big
lot
there's
of
a
people
big
doesn't
difference
like
though.
that.
Like in that particular scene that you're talking about, what's going on between these two characters is consensual. Like
That's very true.
like Karen asks him to do this.
Yeah, and also there's like a very simple series of events that lead to this moment.
Yeah, I
At
mean
least-
it's more than
not
just sticking a
necessarily-
toothbrush in someone's mouth.
Yeah, it's like I'm not elaborating that much because it's very deep actually in terms of like their intricate relationship, but like the arc before that leads up to like the relationship being at that point, which it's kind of fascinating when you think
Yeah,
about it.
I agree.
Yeah. So you can do quote unquote incestuous fan service right.
Yeah. Well, and kind of wrapping up the point with that,
If you
Yasuko no Sora is another show that I wanted to talk about that's in the same vein.
Go for
The
it.
difference is that this particular show deals with real incest between actual blood related siblings. In fact, so blood related, they're fucking fraternal twins.
oh my, that's pretty much as close as you can get.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cringy. And it actually, and what makes it so cringy is that the anime itself glorifies it. Like it makes it seem like this is normal and this is what it's acceptable and it's okay. Because I mean, I really don't want to spoil this too much, but it's based on a visual novel and there's multiple routes, and of course it's kind of harem-esque. But like toward the end, the main character ends up hooking up with his fraternal sister, and it's like the canon relationship, so to speak. And all of the friends and everyone, they're all okay with it, and they think it's all normal. And you look at this, and it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? This is not normal. Just imagine what the children are gonna look like.
Well, genetic degradation doesn't happen until 2 or 3 times down the line.
Yes, but your family tree should have a fork in it.
It definitely should, yes.
There's no fork in this family tree.
That's kind of fucked
But yeah,
up.
it just gets to the point where if they wouldn't try to normalize it so much, it wouldn't be so bad. But it's the fact that they do that just makes it so unbelievably bad.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff.
I think you should talk about
Um,
Fuka.
Stop trying to make me this angry. It's freaking 4 a.m. Okay, here we go. Fuka. So let's talk about Fuka. Episode 1. It opens up and it's like this kid walks around with his head like facing his phone. Oh, okay, just talking and stuff. Then this girl with her headphones is like running along, and then she bumps into him, and then she's like, "Oh, Baka, you've seen my panties." Oh, Baka, she punches him, and then everyone's like, "Oh, we've seen her panties. What a pervert." Then 5 minutes later, the pervert goes back to his home, and wouldn't you know, the moment he walks in, his sister doesn't have any clothes, and also his younger sister, and his older sister, and you think to yourself, why am I even bothering with this show? And you just leave.
That sounds
End the
amazing.
story. Yeah, that show just hits you with the fan service like a truck.
I believe Jason told you this was going to happen.
Actually, no, he didn't. I just watched. Okay, Jason recommended me watching that show before he got me hyped up for it. It's like, okay, I'll check it out. And that, like, I kept going with it for several episodes, but that first episode did not leave a good impression. Ah,
Nah, I totally understand. I haven't seen the show, but I've seen some of the fan service in it, and it's like, no, I don't need to see this.
There's a moment where they go to the studio and they introduce this like badass chick who plays the guitar. It's like, oh, whoa, she's so cool. And then the main character trips over a wire, flies across the room, and lands on her chest because, of course, it's the worst. It's really bad.
How fortuitous. That's never happened to me in real life.
Yeah,
Just
right?
like I've never fallen into someone's boobs either. I've run into people, but I've never fallen into their boobs.
Yeah, Fuka is not good, guys.
Maybe I'm
sorry.
doing it wrong.
There's a
Possibly.
little page in the manga which is like another character just like butt naked shower, and it's like, okay, you're not even trying to hide your intentions anymore. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about Fuka. It's not worth a further discussion, to be frank.
Have you actually seen Fuka, Chinoda?
No, I have not.
Don't.
Yeah, don't.
I don't know, that sounds like pretty good reason to see it.
Oh no, you don't get to see that shower scene in the anime, but yeah, just leave it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if that's all you got for Fuka, I have two others that are kind of related that I wanted to talk about before we kind of wrap this up, maybe.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. There's two shows that are sort of similar. They're like battle girl shows. One's called Sekide, and the other one's called Witchblade. Now, Sekide is kind of a girl battle show where it's all girls that fight each other, but it's also there's a male main character that. Okay, so these girls can only activate their powers that they have by getting their first kiss.
Of
So
course.
guess who the main character gets to kiss? All these girls. but then they get to fight each other, and it's like it's a whole rigmarole. It's not a great show. But again, it's one of those shows where it's like the fan service is there just for the fan service, like, and it's one of it's a show where like the nudity isn't censored, so like there's big floppy tits hanging all over the place, and that's another thing. This show has all the girls except for like I think one in the show has enormous tits, like double, triple G's, and you get to see them like bare chests and everything. But then, like, when they fight, when these girls actually fight, like, their clothes rip and, like, you can see their underwear. It's just... But it almost seems kind of really condescending to the female characters, the way the fan service is done. It's like, that's the only reason you're actually in this show is so we can show your tits. Like, that's how the fan service is done. So... I can't recommend Sekirei. It's not a great show. I do own it on Blu-ray. Riker will point that out.
You just filthy son of a gun.
But I have a reason. It was on sale for $10 for both seasons. And it's how I watched the show. I bought it sight unseen.
Alright, moving on. Any other really bad examples of fan service?
I was going to say, the other one that's kind of in that vein is Witchblade.
Okay.
It's another girl battle show, which is actually based on a Western graphic novel series of the same name, Witchblade. And it's basically about this like weapon that only women can use, and it's been kind of passed on throughout history. And there's multiple versions of this weapon, but it can only be used by women. And they basically fight each other for reasons. I don't even think it's ever really explained. But the anime adaptation of Witchblade takes it kind of a step further. And actually, if you get Witchblade on DVD, which I have, I do actually like the graphic novel series that it's based on, so I have an out on that one. But one of the things that they talk about in the special features is the animation company, which was Gonzo, went to the creators of Witchblade and said, do you mind if we change a few things? And they're like, well, what do you want to change? And it's like, what do you think about the main character like having sexual pleasure from using the Witchblade? And they're
Are you serious?
Okay. So yeah, I'm not kidding. That actually happens. So it doesn't happen in the graphic novel, but their rationale for this is that every woman who receives the Witchblade reacts to it differently.
Like, I remember way back then when the Funimation channel was still on TV, I watched a couple episodes here and there. I was like, the hell is up with this? I didn't understand. I was like 11 or 12 at the time. I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's kind of old. Again, another show with a lot of women with enormous tits. But basically the only thing that the fan service is there for is to like unbelievably sexualize the main character, who is a single mother who has like a lowly child who is more responsible than she is.
I'm looking at the poster. It's like a redhead with huge tits, and there's a lolly in the background. It's like, okay,
that's her daughter.
I remember the daughter was actually really sweet.
Actually, the daughter is a really cute character and actually more useful than half of the male characters in that show.
No bullshit.
That's another thing.
Show.
It is a 24-episode show. That's another thing about Witchblade. All of the male characters in that show are so unabashedly stupid. I can't recommend it, but definitely if you get a chance, read the Western graphic novel series. It's pretty good. Great artwork, by the way.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, I think we went through a lot of both good cases for fan service and bad cases for them. I think we got a good range of shows to talk about and try and figure out.
Certainly others, but these are the ones that definitely stand out in our
more.
minds.
There are many more animes littered with fan service-esque shows.
And there's one airing this season. It's called Darling in the Franxx, and it's great.
You guys want to touch on that quick? Because I know you two have been keeping up with it. I'm planning on probably watching it when it's done.
I think
you guys want to touch on it quick?
Yeah,
I think it's going to be something like Evangelion when it ends. Like, we're only a few episodes in at this point. It's a 24-episode show. It's announced as a 24-episode show.
Although we can already tell, it is basically the baby child of Evangelion, Gurren Lagann,
and Kill la Kill.
And Kill la Kill. It is
Trigger.
the baby child of all of them. Trigger and A1. And my god, it is amazing.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out that Like this is we've mentioned it before on another podcast. This is a collaboration between Trigger and A1. So you got Trigger's great animation, and you have A1's amazing marketing and budget. So
Yeah.
it looks every bit of it. It looks like 50 grand to spend on every single episode just in the animation alone.
I've been seeing a lot of art of this pink-haired girl, and
Yes.
she seems like a very special character.
Zero
I'm gonna
two.
enjoy.
I want to be her darling.
My God.
But yeah,
How old is she?
there's a lot of overtly sexual references in the show, and there's definitely like they basically, to use the mechs that they pilot in the show, they basically have to line up to pilot the mech inside the cockpit doggy style.
Like no
I'm not
BS,
kidding, that's
that
exactly
is
how it
actually
is.
the show.
And they even take it one step further because they give the men in the back handlebars to hold on to. I'm not kidding.
Thank you, Trigger, for just making dreams come true.
This show is great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it when it's close to ending.
Oh, there is one other thing I'd like to point out really quick. And
Go for
actually,
it.
you're probably going to really disagree with me on this, Natai.
Okay.
But there is fan service in a show that you and I both love that I just want to point out. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Okay.
There's a specific episode of Part 3, Stardust Crusaders.
I know what you're talking about.
Where, no, I don't think you do. Where you actually get to see Polnareff turn into a baby.
That's very true.
And you get to see him completely naked, and it's like he looks like a 2-year-old baby, and you get to see him naked, little tiny penis and all, and it's kind
Also
of
in part
like,
4, did you forget?
That's true. You get to see Yamato
Hayato.
or Hayato Yamato. It's not a fucking battleship. Hayato, yeah, you get to see him naked in part 4. Although he's a little bit older than Polnareff was supposed to be in part 3. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just
but-
it's kind of cringy to me because it's a
Is it?
little
I
kid.
don't-
It's a naked little kid.
It doesn't try to sexualize it though.
No, it doesn't sexualize
It's
it at
just
all. But
there.
I can see some creepy ass pedophile getting off that though.
I thought you were going to talk about like the Maria episode with just Joseph Joestar and Abdul going at it because of magnets, but never mind.
No, that's just funny.
I will say, JoJo does fan service, also actually free. We haven't talked about it, but I won't get into that much. But I think this shows
demand
just by
service.
having like really good character design, have somewhat really good fan service. Like if you're into very bulky guys and that's your thing, that's like cool.
Sign me up. But yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Let's get out of here because I think Shinoda has to actually go.
Yeah.
You're into that stand-up power. But yeah, let's wrap it up. So this was a fun little discussion about fan service. I think
Yes.
we all enjoyed it, going into the good and the bad and everything that's in between.
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Yeah. But I think this is a good place to stop. We've been at it for a while now, and I think
For now,
it's time to
anyways,
wrap
we
up.
should revisit this topic though. It's a
will.
ongoing topic.
Yeah, in a couple
Yeah.
of years perhaps.
And we will, because this is the first part of our new, very small miniseries that's about sexuality in anime. And
Yes.
this the first part, is about fan service. Next part we're gonna cover for this miniseries is about the topic of LGBT in anime, which is
Let us
gonna be
gay
quite
bacon
fascinating.
tomato.
No, get out. Fuck you.
That's gonna be fascinating in my opinion. That's like a real cool topic, and yeah, this is the first part of three podcast episodes. Which this is a cool little thing we
We
came
thought
up with.
that
Kudos out.
February would be a good time to do a mini series about sex and sexuality in anime. It is,
Yeah.
after all, the month of love.
Ooh, indeed. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sure we all enjoyed it. I think it's time to wrap it up. But yeah, if you are lovely listeners, enjoyed what you listened to here, you're more than welcome to check out our other stuff. You can visit our website animeclubafterdark.com for our both to vote. Go vote on Best Girl and Best Boy of 2017. That's super important. So go over there and vote and check out some other stuff. And like
It would be worth pointing out that I recently uploaded Chapter 7 of the web novel I'm working on.
I was about to say that. Alex is still going the web novel. It's still pretty pretty awesome. I'm really looking forward to start reading it. I'm waiting for more stuff to come out, so I won't be like, oh, I need more. Um, but that's out there as well. We also started uploading our podcast episodes to YouTube. So go search YouTube for Anime Club After Dark and check out our channel. And if you want, you can listen to our stuff over there as well on SoundCloud and iTunes. We're also there as well. If you want to keep up with what we're doing and have a little more fun, maybe even a bit more lewd fun, you can check out our Facebook group let me get that URL right, at facebook.com/group/Anime Club After Dark. We have a lot of cool shit over there, a lot of memes, a lot of lewd stuff. Good shit.
Yes.
Y'all will
And if
like
you have
it.
any question, comments, or criticism about this episode or any episodes, feel free to shoot an email our way. And again, all the links are in the description, so go ahead if you want to check it out. But yeah, that was fun.
How did you like your first episode as a host?
That was really fun. I enjoyed it. I've been stumbling a bit, but hopefully
Yes.
I've done decently. That's the goal.
Will you be doing it again?
Well, maybe if I get sick again.
We'll see.
Hopefully this cough is gone by next week when we record again.
I'm up for it if
we have a JoJo's episode to do, by the way.
Oh yeah. Also, by the way, along with announcing the upcoming parts for the sexual ministers, also we're doing a JoJo's episode real soon, which is gonna be a two-parter because you can't do a JoJo episode in only one part.
Yeah, we're doing one episode devoted entirely to the anime, and then another episode devoted entirely to the manga.
Exactly. And in March, Alex and I are gonna talk about a little show called March Comes In Like a Lion, because it's quickly becoming some of the best drama this year. So
yes,
look out for that real soon. But yeah, I've been your host Itai, and I will see you all next time. Say goodnight, everyone.
Good night, darling.
Nighty night.
Bye.